There are 4 tracks in this area with a seasonal gate of $40 million. The canines hate to go into those boxes, but boy, how they love to come out.
Greyhound Racing. Once a celebrated sport, it's now being outlawed across much of the world, condemned for animal cruelty and ongoing safety concerns.
Today we announce plans to end greyhound racing in New Zealand. This is not a decision that is taken lightly, but is ultimately driven by protecting the welfare of racing dogs.
By July 2026, New Zealand will follow suit, ending greyhound racing after decades of loyal crowds and the multi-million-dollar industry built around it. The Greyhound Racing Association has appealed the decision, but with mounting public pressure and government scrutiny, the outcome appears inevitable. Around 3,000 dogs will retire from the sport, impacting nearly 1,000 owners and trainers whose livelihoods depend on it. Today, we will explore what remains of this crumbling empire and take a closer look at the complex, often controversial history behind it.
Ready? And racing, best out would have been iLab and also costing money. There's Dream Large.
Christchurch is a major hotspot for greyhound racing with its iconic Addington Raceway. There is a former trial track that was closed down many years ago that remains overgrown, hungry for the crowds to show once again and its racing dogs to compete once more. But to the track's dismay, nothing ever came back. Awaiting demolition for housing, this track is a great example of the dying greyhound industry within New Zealand. So as you can see out here, we've got the whole greyhound racing track there, and right here we have the main hall. Obviously these are the windows. You've got the outside door there. It has been graffitied up a bit. We're going to check out the hall very soon. We're just going to have a quick look around it. We have actually got a kids playground area. We've got an old seesaw there, probably fallen a bit, so yeah. it's not in a good condition. There's an outside barbecue here on the side of the hall, which is actually really unique. You don't usually get this. Obviously for the association, they wanted to have barbecues, a big cobweb there. But you can see with a quick look in there, old Barbie gear in there and stuff. That's pretty impressive. There's a cobweb right there. It's one of those old hard wooden seat swings. I hated these when I was a kid. They were the worst swings you could ever sit on. I never liked those ones. That's why they've all been converted to plastic rubber now. So here we have the female toilet. Always going to be the cleaner toilet, of course. There's nice old wooden handles on these toilets. But yeah, little pink toilet seat there. That one's a bit trashed up. You got another one here that still has toilet paper, believe it or not. And you've got the sink here, which has been nicked. Someone's taken it. But yeah, it's a pretty solid door, man. Oh, right. Interesting thing is you've still got the greyhound dog kennels sitting here. See the 2 kennels there? They would have stored their dogs in here while they were, having a beer, having a meeting. They would put the dogs in the kennels to await their owners. And then you got the male toilet in here. Got a very old-fashioned urinal in this one. You can see that. It's pretty stinky. And of course it's messier than the female toilet. You got the smashed up toilet. Don't know why it's like this. The male toilets always come off worse off. And the bandos and the sink. It's quite interesting. Yeah, we're all solid doors, like steel type of doors. You can see these fine cracks all through the back end here. Heaps of them. The whole thing's just splitting apart. Don't know how long it's going to stand for. I don't say it would survive another earthquake. It's pretty bad. Best to look at it now, and document it while we can. We'll go have a look inside, and take a look at all the memorabilia and all the history of the Greyhound Association Racing. So here we are at the historic Greyhound Hall. Now this is the main hall where the association, hung out. They had their dinners and drinks and things like that. We're going to come over here and take a look at the plaque We can see it was donated there by Mr. Bill Kingston in the 1987. So he donated the 1980s. There's some awesome like memorabilia here. You know, we've got the Greyhound Racing Club. This is the Handling Cup. Obviously that's our first place winner, or the first place winner there, and they got third and second. Just all sitting here, look at this, it's stunning, you know. You got old photos here. What do we got? The Christchurch Greyhound Racing Club's meeting, 30th of March, 1964. So this is quite historic stuff here. What do we got? This is all dust, look at that. It's just all dusty. If we can see that a bit better. Royal Lassie leading the field at the start of the first heat in the Selwyn Notice Stakes at Stockburn. So we can actually, if we scrub that a bit, we can see these photos a bit more clearly. Look at that. Wow, that's cool, eh? What's this say? National Greyhound Racing Championships. Amigo, the winner, leading the field in open hurdles at the Preston's Road Track. We've got another one over here, some more photos. We've got the Dogs Leap from the boxes at the start of the Silent Wonder Stakes. The third race is April 1982. Smart Strider, winning the 1978 NZ Breeding Stakes. Oh, heaps of photos just sitting up here. Chairs all stacked. We have had a bit of a sneaky tidy here for you guys before. We obviously shot this because it was a little bit of a mess, but we've found a whole bunch of things that we've pulled out for you. More photos, memorabilia. We got the old books from the Greyhound. Oh, I didn't see, looking for a date here. These probably 90s, 80s, eh? Something like that. So you got names of the dogs. Look at that. Training profiles. So these are obviously books that they gave out to the members and stuff, or anyone that wanted them. There's some ads in there. Look at that, that's how old this is. Stacks of photos from the old races. So that's what the tracks actually looked like back then. You know, they were really well made up, obviously. Here's the dogs coming out of the chutes to chase the rabbit. This one's quite cool because this actually shows what the hall looked like back then. I don't know what the date is on it, doesn't really have a date. That was set up for some sort of dinner party or something. But you can see how old these photos are that we found. Look at this. You got writing on the back of that. I can't read scribble writing, I'm not the best at it. Got the dogs at the races. That's a very nice shot. There's a owner with his dogs, with his greyhounds. You can see that is wicked, eh? Such old photography. Say 1980, 1990. Got some really nice still shots of the dogs too. We haven't been able to locate this, but this is the Champion Shield that was in the hall here. And that's for the championship dog and its owner. Greyhound World Books, 80 cents. See that? That's how much they cost back then. You can see the Auckland Greyhound Racing Club. So as we talked about before, you know, greyhound racing is being banned in New Zealand. So a lot of this is becoming obsolete, which is quite sad. You have got a members board here. If you can see the Canterbury Greyhound Association Life members. Got Ray Anderson, Bill Carnes, we've got Peter Rickaby, Doug Schultz. There's a few people on that list. And this obviously would have been full of them. We got more photos over here. We had a filing cabinet that was full of, you know, documents and stuff. And you got more photos here of the old track. It's a shame we don't know any dates for these because, oh, hang on, there we go. We got a date, 28th of March, 1979. So there you go. That's why it tends to check the back of the photos, Omega. We've got a cash receipt book, just all faded, all old names of people who have paid for tickets or bets or something like that. You've got old receipts there, more old receipts and stuff, just all lying in there. We can't really go through too much of that because it is private stuff. But what I want to show over here, which we found were special awards. These were just, finding these in a place like this is so cool to see. We got R.H. Adcock in honour of 1986 to 87 Trainer of the Year. So this was for trainers who, you know, put in extra work for their dogs and for the association. You can see them all here. And this box here is full of them. Full of people who have received awards. Mainly, it looks like Adcocks who have received awards. That one's sadly broken. But yeah, these have just been left, guys. People's rewards here. have just been left. Over here we've laid out some Greyhound Association newsletter kind of magazine books. Now these are dated to 1985. And we've got newspapers over there as well from the Greyhound world. But you can see these old magazines here and ads. See, it's sad, it's always going to be obsolete soon, but obviously for the welfare of the animals. But yeah, all of this is going to be, you know, past history. This is just full of old newspapers. Look, 1975, look at that. There's a lot of accounts here and stuff. You know, just left. When was this dated? 24th September. We don't have a year though. Look at the old receipts. That was in 96. 1996, that receipt. More Greyhound Association newspapers. More old receipts. Look at the old. Remember on the back of the receipts they had like little coupons? I mean, you still have them, but people don't really use them anymore. There's an old Spates coast to coast poster here. That's really cool. That's 1990, that one. They had a bar here. You got old milk bottles up here. That 600ml milk station. 300ml milk station. You got Spates gold medal beer. Someone smashed that one, but that was an old Clan McGregor. Matt Gregor? Yeah. It was an old whiskey bottle, that one. The formula for dogs. What was that? Reflections Coke gloss. Gives a lustrous show gloss for the Greyhounds. This fridge was actually a record player label, I've been told. So that's really cool. They don't make fridges anymore. They made record players. So yeah, it's an obsolete company now, but there you go. It's an older style fridge. Another fridge over here. Absolutely nothing in it. No, that's a more modern fridge, that one. Coming over this table, we've actually laid out a few cool things that you can look at as well, guys. We've got a lot of different old coast to coast posters again. You got Rolly's Working Dog Formula ad poster, and you got Vital is right for any size appetite. So there's another Vital poster there. This is really cool. It's an old picture of the Irish Kiwi known as R.H. Adcock. Adcock is a name I'm seeing a lot around here, so they're obviously a big family in this association. And that was 1991. W Dog. GST guides, Greyhound World. What's that? We've got an old DB Draught Champions beer. That's a 1988 one, this one. Look at this, they got actual like dogs for sale. Wendy's Legend, Little Soul. So they had ads for dogs that people could purchase. Look at that. They got comments about things. Congratulations on the Christchurch GRC for another well-run New Zealand Championship meeting. Or should I say another DB Draught New Zealand. But yeah, they got comments from members and all sorts of things. That's really cool. There's an old drink here left, maybe from one of the kids, you know. You don't get that brand anymore, nice grape. Never drunk their drink, they just left it here. What do we got? Another poster here, look at this. So that was a championship dog, I believe. We got Mr. W.G. Kingston Superior Rank. James Minder, Dresden, China. Winner of, here we go, 1950. That is old. Winner of the 1950 to 51 SI Challenge Cup, Ruddy Cup, Jackson Wide World Cup. That's old, New Zealand Track Championship. So that's a very old picture, that. You see the old heaters and that. And you see, look, they're just the cobwebs that have been left. This is how long it's been sitting here. Just left abandoned, completely abandoned. All right, coming in here. This is the, I don't know what the hell that crap is down there. But yeah, unfortunately, some youths have got in here and sprayed fire extinguisher absolutely everywhere. So it's a bit dusty, but we've got more Greyhound magazines here. We can see the issue, December 1985, annual AWA Awards. Greyhounds registered, these are the registered dogs of the year, when the next meeting is. See, Greyhound Racing has been going for a long time. You know, it's a very popular sport. Another old fashionable fridge. If you're into fridges, It looks like it's an old brand, that one, press cold. Someone's just ripped that all open. Maybe looking for copper, I don't know. Yeah, there was your fire extinguisher. But this is the kitchen area, obviously, and where they stored all their drinks, I guess. Something really cool to look at here is the old microwaves. That would be a 1980, 1990, eh? Massive big ones back then, so they don't look quite that big now. But this is neat too, an old oven. You know, that's an old stovetop oven. You got this cool one too. And you got your warmer drawer, your elements, all there. Look at that. Really old timers and stuff. I'd say, I don't quite know what this was for. Maybe have some snacks in or yeah, it's weird because it's glass. I don't quite know what that would be for. Maybe they had memorabilia in there or something. Cleaning chemicals. But it's pretty disgusting in here, it's not great. You can see down there the bloody, they've ripped open the, what do you call it? Hot water cylinder and stuff, or electric water heater. They've still got the first aid kit though. Look at that. Got lawnmower chargers for Smith's eye tissues. Got some old, I think there's too much to look at in here. Yeah, that's just an incident report, registered booklet. You know, there wasn't much space behind there, but it did the job obviously. We'll have a look quickly at the earthquake damage. So you guys can see there, this is why it's been left abandoned. It's just shocking cracks there, that's no good. Absolute structure damage there. And there's also a lot on the outside too. It's a shame it's turned into what it is now, but you know, with obviously again with Greyhound Racing being banned in the near future, they were meant to, you know, move all this to a new location, but I guess they never bothered because, you know, it's going to be banned anyway, so they've just left it to rot. So there you go. Very cool to look at.
After exploring the hall, our cameraman spotted another shed which contained a hidden surprise I wasn't quite expecting.
Cameraman's actually pointed out there's a shed down here which we haven't had a look at. There's a bit of tagging on it. There's an old bicycle up there, a bit of rubbish out the front of it. Looks like the window's all been smashed. There's an old tap here. I'm guessing that might have been the water tank over there for it. I don't know. But it definitely looked like there was a tank sitting right here in the concrete patch here. It's very old. Bit of history. It's quite an old-fashioned one, that one. We'll have a look in here. There's actually an old tractor in here. Look at this. Oh, right. There's its engine. This is bloody cool. What's that up there? It's an old sensor. Oh, Canterbury Greyhound Club OTB Association Trial Track. Look at that. Got the old sign in here. Got a few old signs. That tractor must have been used for, you know, driving on the track to set things up. You know, obviously got the person in charge around the track. Another upside down sign there. Got sponsors and stuff. Got some old tarpaulins. It looked like it had a tow thing on that, eh? Looks like it towed something. Do you reckon? That's really cool. That's a Norwood. Ferguson, is it? It might be Ferguson or something. I'm not very familiar with my tractor brands. Hang on, how does this work? Oh, they obviously had something on it to... I can only wheel that backwards, not forward, but it would have been for stamping something on the track. Someone can tell me in the comments what this is. I'm not as familiar with the Greyhound Racing, but it's obviously something to do with it. That's a pretty cool little find. Yeah, overload fault, press fault. Well, maybe it was just for the water tank, I don't know. We got a lot of control panels here. System off, time, day, start, maybe that's security, I don't know. You guys are welcome to comment and let us know what you think about all this and what they really are. It's very cool. It's actually still got power running on that one. That's pretty insane. You can clearly see quite an old style tractor, that one. Real cool find. Now we'll go have a look out at the track more, eh? There's a few cool features here to look at. So we come through here, we can actually see where the dog boxes were, where they were getting ready to race and chase the rabbit. Obviously the rabbit would go along this railing over here. They'd shoot the rabbit down there, along the track. The greyhounds would be in the numbered boxes here, that's 1 to 8. and it'd run off a pressure system, and you know, the box would shoot up like that, and the dogs would run out around the track to chase the rabbits. So you can kind of see how it works. There's a little pressure gauge here. You can see that pressure gauge. So it was all run electronically. So you turn that to set, and yeah, should be ready to go. You can see how small, like if you look how tiny those chutes are, that's quite skinny. I mean, greyhounds, they're naturally quite a thin dog, but it's very small. Oh, look out, police! Oh God! We've got the kennels, the dog kennels, you know, where they store all the greyhounds or whatever breed in there. That's their kennels. So these are the keep kennels. Pretty cool to see that in this little shed. All right, here's a little watchtower. This is actually one of the, you know, as you will, dog jersey, you know, that they wore, and there's number 4s, and that says Fiend or Fleen or something like that. It's got their name on it. It says the top area. The dogs would wear it like that, and they'll be running along, you know, around the track with these on. So that's a really cool thing to see, just sitting there. So the conductors in here or whatever, the judges. It's quite a small space. You know, the announcer will be in here, and they'll be talking out here, and they've got these windows that open here, you can see. There's a really old style heater, and they get bloody hot in here with that in here. It's a real small space. You've got all your controls, things like that. It's really, really cool to see. Got a lot of rubbish down here though. Old bits and pieces. Not going to be here for much longer. So it's cool to check it out now while we can. There's also another little stand area over here we'll have a look at. It's a very small stand, but you've got a crowd stand here. Yeah, I'd imagine there were more of these placed around the race arena, but this is the last one that's left, unfortunately. It's interesting to see how they actually made this whole track out of railway lines. All railway lines all the way around there. You know how we checked out the dog box on that side? There's another one over there, so they could run more dogs around that side. Well, with great exertion, we've made it over to the other side. We were over there. Here we have the other one. This is very interesting. It's actually done a lot differently. It looks like an older style box, this one. Got old wooden doors for this one. It's not quite as new as the other one. There is actually a plug system set up to this, so it was clearly done electronically. So this was plugged in somewhere. Obviously running off pressure again, I'm gonna guess. But you can see this is a little bit different. This was a full, I can't really lift that down, it's stuck on something. That would have came down, you can see the top of it. All the numbers 1 to 8 again. It's a lot more rusted and, you know, more left and forgotten. I don't think this was used as much as the other one. But you can see in there the narrow spaces if you get down and have a look. So yeah, and this whole thing shot open, and just like the other one with the hydraulics, but these, instead of pulling it up like the other one, I think this one was pushing out that way. Something really different to look at. You know, we don't usually see these kind of things get abandoned here in New Zealand, so yeah, really, really interesting to look at, and you know, diving into a bit of the history of Greyhound and their racing and that with New Zealand, you know, very interesting stuff.
With the ban date drawing closer, we will most likely see more places like these that were tied to Greyhound Racing left forgotten until its timely demise of being demolished to make way for a future that would have forgotten Greyhound Racing and its history. As I document these places, it's always hard to see its history fall away into the endless river of time. Even though this ban will save our greyhounds, it will also sadly bring less attention to these beautiful dogs, as they are very underappreciated for the animal they are. It also puts a lot of strain on our adoption system here in New Zealand, so if you are interested in adopting these incredible creatures into your home, please visit your local SPCA for more information, or visit greyhoundsaspets.org.nz to seek more information. All websites relating to adoption will be listed in the description, so if you can, please consider opening your doors for another member of your family.